The first point I want you to understand is that hamd means praise and thanks, and they go together in this one word. But we know that praise by itself is something else, and thanks by itself is something else. Now, if the Quran said al-madhu lillah, praise belongs to Allah, that would have been an okay translation, because madh actually means praise. If it said al-thana'u lillah, another word in Arabic for more elaborate praise, it belongs to Allah, fine. We could have translated it praise belongs to Allah, or praise is for Allah. If it said ash-shukru lillah, or like I think you guys call it shukur, right? Shukur. So, ash-shukru lillah, then you could have said thanks belongs to Allah, thanks to Allah. But it doesn't say al-madhu lillah, it doesn't say al-thana'u lillah, it doesn't say ash-shukru lillah, it says what? Alhamdulillah. So Allah is combining two things together. Now, that's a really important concept before we move on. Why combine these two things together? Because if we only said praise belongs to Allah, then it might mean you're praising Him, but at the same time you are not necessarily thanking Him. And it could be that if you said ash-shukru lillah only, then you're thanking Him, but you're not necessarily praising Him. But our attitude towards Allah is more comprehensive than that. So Allah chose the best possible word, which is alhamdulillah, to let us know that whatever Allah does, we have to have two attitudes at the same time. There are two things that have to go on in my head when I say alhamdulillah. Whatever I said alhamdulillah to. Hey, how was your flight? Alhamdulillah. Two things. What are those two things? I'm praising Allah for the flight, and I'm thanking Allah for the flight. Now let's try to understand the difference between those two, because they're not the same. When you see a nice car drive by and you say, wow, nice car. What did you just do? You did praise. You don't pat the car and say, thank you, BMW. You don't do that. There's a difference. You praised it because it's beautiful, or it's got great performance, or you saw a sports game and you saw the athlete perform really well and you praise the athlete. You don't thank the athlete, you only praise them. There's a difference. Now, on the other hand, there's thanks. Like when someone does you a favor, you will do what? Thanks. It's a different context. And sometimes we praise without thanking. And sometimes we thank without praising. I'll give you an example of praise without thanking. You can praise a beautiful mountain, but you don't thank the mountain, you thank Allah. You praise the ocean and how beautiful it looks, but you're not going to thank the ocean, you understand? But on the other hand, what about if you thank someone, but you still don't what? You still don't praise them. Is that possible? Yeah, it actually is possible, and it happens. And I'll give you some examples from the Quran of when that happens. You have the case of Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam, by the way, whose house was he raised in? And it's kind of embarrassing to call it a house. It was kind of bigger than a house, but Fir'aun's. And Fir'aun raised him, fed him, educated him, protected him his entire life. Yes? And when he came back to Fir'aun, Fir'aun said, Alam nurabbika fina walida? Didn't we raise you as a newborn? And he reminded him of all the things he did for him. How can you talk to me like this? I did all of these things for you. So now Musa alayhi salam acknowledges, وَتِلْكَ نِعْمَةٌ تَمُنُّهَا عَلَيَّ. That is in fact a favor you did for me. You did do me a big favor. When you tell someone you've done me a big favor, what have you just done? You've thanked them. But you will never find Musa alayhi salam doing what? That's impossible. So he's thanking him but not praising him. So praise and thanks are two different things, yes?